a fool to do your dirty work. Oh yeah.
Your heat was set at 73 degrees. And it was like early November too. It wasn't recently.
Must have been cold.
I mean, as cold as the Rockies, call it a Coors Light.
Mountain Blue?
I'd murder for one right now.
All right, welcome back to Shameful Locks here. We're here for NFL Week 15. Unfortunately, Mr. Blake Profio could not make it this week. He has finals week for school. Imagine being in school. What are you trying to better yourself? We'll see. Just kidding. Love you. But yes, just because Blake isn't here doesn't mean we're not going to do a show. We got our Supreme Leader in for this week. He's doing his best Tony Soprano look, and I think he's actually doing a pretty good job.
I mean, that wasn't exactly what I was going for. I was more going for a hungover stepdad. But, if Tony Soprano is the first thing that comes into somebody's mind when looking at me, I take it as a high compliment. So,
yeah, I definitely could see you pulling that look at like your stepkid's soccer game or something like that on like a 9:30 in the morning, rocking a paper bag over a beer or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad that stepped up. So
true, you're the one who stepped up to beat the kid.
Oh, I don't condone capital punishment, but
what if the kid's being a real shit?
It's up to each person individually. Me personally, I probably wouldn't take the liberty to beat somebody else's kid, but
okay. We've got some recapping to do. So, Tim, you weren't here last week, so you don't have any picks, but we'll give you a recap of how you're doing overall in the season at the end here. Poor week for Blake. Maybe that's why he took the week off. He went 0-3, which really stunk. He's probably getting back in the lab right now. Actually, I don't know what I'm saying. Blake told us he's going to have picks for us. We'll include the picks at the end of the video. That's on me. I'm dumb. But we'll go over Blake's 3 picks from last week first. He had Jags Browns under 33.5. Did not hit. I think that ended up being like in the 50s. I assume if Blake were here, he'd say piss poor or something like that. And then Blake's player prop of the week was a brutal hook. Very, very brutal. He had Tony Pollard under 58.5 rush yards against the Eagles, and I like that one a lot. I actually tailed it. I tailed it at 59.5 though, and Tony Pollard finished with 59. So I ended up winning tailing him, but he lost because he had 58.5, and then he finished at 59. So sorry, Blake, that really stinks, and I'm sorry. But his lock of the week, Blake has gotten very cold on these locks of the week. He is 0-3 in the last 3 weeks after starting off 7-0. But he had Alvin Kamara over 98.5 rushing plus receiving yards. That did not cash. Blake, like I said, went 0-3, minus 3 units on the week. He is now sitting, I mean, he's still having a good season overall. Like I said, I would still be happy to be in his seat right now. He is at 3.99 units positive on the year. He's sitting at 24-18, and he is 7-3 on his Shameful Locks. But I did okay last week. We'll get to mine here now. So my loss last week, I went 2-1, going for a positive 1.33 units on the week. My one loss was Falcons -1. Screw you, Baker Mayfield. They were winning with like a minute left to go in the game, and they almost won. I think there was an interception that got called back at the very end of the game, and then Bucks ended up just scoring a touchdown with like 20 seconds left to go. So go ahead, touchdown, but for the bad guys. Next one player prop was Justin Fields over 259.5 passing plus rushing yards against the Lions, and he crushed it. I think he got like 330 or something like that. That was a pretty good cash. I think I cashed that like early fourth quarter. So that felt good. And then my lock of the week was a good one. It was a good plus money bet. It was plus 143 for the kids counting at home. I had Jahmyr Gibbs, 35 plus rushing yards, and David Montgomery, 53 plus rushing yards. Really stupid lines I had to grab, but I really liked them. Cash that. I am now sitting at a cool 19-22-1 on the season, so real close to getting up there at the positive boys like Blake. I'm minus 3.48 units on the year. 6-4 on my Shameful Locks so far this year, and then We'll recap the touchdown parlay. Unfortunately, have an L. Blake picked Devontae Adams. I picked Devontae Smith. Neither of them scored. The Devontae touchdown parlay was a flop. We are sitting at 4 and 5 on those on the year. Apparently, we are not having one of those this week, but that's okay. That's fine.
Too risky for my blood.
That's fair. But we'll talk about our supreme leader since he has blessed us with his presence. Tim, you are sitting at 2-1-1. One of those picks being one of your futures. It was Aaron Rodgers over passing yards.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting that.
Even if he came back,
he's got to have a crazy last week of the season or something like that.
Throw it 1,000 yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
But you are still positive being 2-1-1. You are 0.73 units on the year. And I think it's a good change of pace for you. And I'm excited to see if you can keep this up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the approach that's working for me is quality over quantity. I've kind of stepped back in my lock picks and seem to be having some more success. After a few more weeks off here, I'm looking for some more success. Get those units in the plus numbers a little deeper.
I like it. And without further ado, for week 15, I'd like you to start.
Oh, I have to start.
Yep.
All right. To start this week, Gabe said I look like Tony Soprano, so I guess I'll go with an Italian style home cooked pick here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Giants money line over the Saints this week. I think Tommy Cutlets has got the juice flowing right now. I don't see the Giants making the playoffs. They have to play the Eagles twice down the stretch, and even if they win out, they only have a 80% chance of making the playoffs, which is good, but they have to win out to even get to that chance, which involves beating the Eagles twice, once again, like I said. So I think they're hot right now, and I think they get this win over the lackluster Saints. The Saints offense has not been what they've expected it to be this year, bringing in Derek Carr, and they're going to have a mid-draft pick next year, and the shameful Saints, the Aints, as they call them, I think are in for a few more years of mediocrity, much to the chagrin of Terry Geiger, our dear friend, who has wisely jumped off of the Saints. He's now a Ravens fan, I do believe.
He's got like 4 teams now.
Yeah. Which is fine, to each their own. But yeah, so that's my game pick of the week is Giants money line over the Saints. That's at plus 225 on FanDuel. Gonna ride the hot hand this week.
I feel like that game's definitely going to be like a 50-50 coin flip. I can see it going either way, but I'm surprised it's at plus 225 for a coin flip. I think that should definitely be a lot closer. Don't think a lot of Derek Carr. Definitely should start Jameis, especially if Carr's not 100%. Saints stink. Mm-hmm. But I think something you should do to try to ensure that pick hits is I think you should try to find a really good Italian chicken cutlet sandwich, like a chicken parm, and eat that on Sunday.
Sounds good. That won't be difficult to do at all.
I think that would improve your chances of winning this bet.
I can do that. Maybe not the DeVito family cutlets, but I'll cook something up around here.
All right. I look forward to seeing what you do end up indulging on. All right, I'll jump into my game pick here for the week. I saw that was good. My game pick this week, I'm going back to my white whale here. And when I made this pick, I initially liked it, and I was like, yeah, that's a good pick. That's smart. But then I realized when I lead in this direction, it doesn't go well for me. I realized I tallied it up. So I'm going to Falcons minus 2.5 over the Panthers at minus 127. I got that at Caesars. This is an alt line a little bit. The original line is minus 3, but I don't want another push, so I figured might as well take 2.5 for a little bit worse odds. It's fine. I can live with that. But like I said, this is kind of my white whale this year. When I bet the Falcons, there's something a pick that involves the Falcons have a say on the outcome. Like either the person I bet is playing the Falcons, or I bet on a Falcons player or the Falcons in general. I'm 2-4. I'm not good when it comes to betting the Falcons. Like last week, I bet Falcons minus 1. They lost. And then they lost to the Buccaneers. When I bet the Buccaneers against the Falcons beat the Buccaneers. And I'm like, come on. I can't be on the right side of this shit, man. It's terrible. So this is going to be my final stand when it comes to betting anything Falcons related. Like I said, they play the Panthers this week, and the Panthers are 1-12. They suck. Bryce Young looks terrible. They have nothing going on offense. They're only average, above average spot, you could argue, is their defensive line, which Brian Burns is good. But on paper, the Falcons have a much better team. They're sitting at 6-7, leading the what is that? The NFC South, correct?
Yeah.
But they're on top of that with tiebreakers and stuff like that. But if they want any shots of going to the playoffs or trying to win that division, they need to beat the 1-12 Panthers. And I think they're definitely going to win this. Part of the reason I took 2.5 is because I think they'll win this by 3. I'm going to be honest. They're going to win this by 3 or 4. Jot that down. It's going to be a crappy game, but like I said, I think the better team with the better roster is going to come out here.
Right. Yeah, and I know that my last appearance on this show, we talked a little to the disappointment that is the Carolina Panthers. I don't think they were expecting to make a big, deep playoff run or anything this year to begin with. But the underperformance of Bryce Young and just the coaching situation, everything over there. I honestly, I see the Falcons winning by more than 3 here. Not necessarily because the Falcons are that good. I see it more on the side of the Panthers are that bad. I think you put the Panthers with a first round bye in the college football playoff, they still lose. So like I said, this isn't much praising the Falcons, but I think it's more just the absolute gross display of football that's going on in Carolina right now. So yeah, I like the bet. I would have taken an alt line higher personally. So
yeah, it's just I like I said, I thought about it, but since I can't pick the Falcons, man. Every time I bet on the Falcons, it loses. So I just need to be on the right side of this. I didn't realize I like betting on the Falcons that much, but I tallied it up, and apparently that's one of my favorite teams to bet on, which I hate the Falcons. So whatever. Next pick.
All right, so I got my player prop. Once again, I'm riding hot streaks this week. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jake Browning over 240.5 passing yards. Jake Browning, obviously the backup quarterback that stepped in for Joe Burrow on the Cincinnati football Bengals out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They play the Vikings on Saturday this week. Little Saturday N.F.L. action. The Vikings, who won a 3-0 game last week, have been showing they're pretty decent on the defensive side of the ball. But once again, I said I'm riding hot streaks, and I think Jake Browning's got a hot hand right now, and we're going to keep rolling with him. There's something special about that Queen City down south, man. There's something weird going on there. And I think young Jake Feisty throws it all over the Vikings this week. Once again, that was at -114 on FanDuel. Browning to throw over 240.5 passing yards.
Fun fact for everyone out there, I played Tim this week in fantasy, and he has already been eliminated. This is his first year back, coming off a 2-year suspension for not sitting his lineups. But I'm a win and in situation for the playoffs this week, and I just need to beat the guy who's already eliminated. And Tim, I don't know if you've checked your roster yet, but you still have Justin Herbert as your quarterback.
Yep, I've not checked it yet.
And
it's Thursday. I got time.
In an attempt to fuck Tim over and make sure he has no one left, I picked up 3 quarterbacks on waivers this week, one of them being Jake Browning.
That's pretty messed up, man.
I'm going to win an in scenario. I can't have you picking up somebody who's going to go pick up 40 points.
That's pretty messed up. But hey, I was eliminated. Why am I checking my lineup?
I know. It's such a shitty move of me to do, but
yeah, it is.
Every little point helps.
That's all right. I'll beat you with no quarterback.
I don't deserve the playoffs if I lose that.
Yeah.
All right, back to picks though. My player prop of the week. I'm doing something very reckless this week, and you'll understand what I mean when I get to my lock of the week. But we'll start here. I'm going to Jahmyr Gibbs over 13.5 on his longest rush of the day. That is a new market for any of us on this show. So essentially what he needs to do is have a rush of 14 yards or larger on the day. Jahmyr Gibbs plays for the Lions. They're playing the Broncos on Saturday night. The Broncos have a pretty mediocre rush defense. And Jahmyr Gibbs has been really explosive this year. He has cleared this line of 13.5 on his longest rush of the day. in 7 straight games, and in 8 of his last 9 games he's played. I like him to clear this line, and he has been clearing this line by a lot. Like the last 3 weeks, he's had a 30-yard run. So he's super explosive,
Yes.
and I'm just going to look for him to keep being explosive against a pretty crappy rushing defense.
Yeah, man, that two-headed monster in Detroit is dangerous. I'm glad they finally found a way to get them both playing at the beginning of the season. I know Gibbs was not getting the touches that he should have.
Yep, none.
But it kind of leads to the confusion of where the Lions are at right now. I can't remember if they've dropped 2 or 3 straight, something like that, or they've lost 2 or 3 of their last 5 or something. But they're not performing at the clip they were midseason. Which is fine coming down the stretch. You're gonna have injuries and stuff, but big couple weeks here for the Lions to go ahead and clinch, playoff spot in the division and things like that. So, I think Campbell's going to be throwing everything, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to get this win this week, and that's going to include some opportunities for Gibbs to get explosive runs, as you mentioned. So, I like the pick a lot.
Thank you. And ever since the Lions played the Ravens and got absolutely curb stomped, they just have not looked the same. Jared Goff has actually been playing pretty poor. And I think the Lions, if they want to go ahead and win this game, they need to exploit the opponent's weakness and go to what they're pretty darn good at. And if you want to try to milk clock, run out the game, they're very capable of doing this. They just need to stop throwing with Goff, evidently, in my opinion.
All right, is it it's lock time? All right,
lock time.
I'm for my locks. Obviously, this is our most confident pick. Something that we can't possibly see losing. So naturally, I will go to. I'm a frequent flyer, Miles, with the Browns betting. The Cleveland markets have been moderately good to me. They weren't great to me last year. I don't think I won too many with the Browns last year, but obviously I have them to make the playoffs, which is looking pretty decent in my season long bet. And I won them to cover against the Ravens last time I was on, and they ended up winning that game. So the Browns have been good to me. So I'm going to go back to them this week. I'm going to have them covering -3, rather. That is at -118. They're playing the Bears, which on top of me hating the Bears with every ounce and fiber of my being, obviously we know the Bears story this year, out of any type of contention or close to. And a loss this week would solidify it, I'm sure. Justin Fields has been putting up good numbers, but for some reason the coaching staff and ownership just not happy with him. I look for him to be on another team next year, pretty much without a doubt. And the Browns, obviously, defense playing immaculate. And this pick kind of goes in with all my picks today. I'm riding the hot hand. And who has probably one of the hottest hands at quarterback behind center in the NFL in the year 2023? It's Joseph Flacco. Who would have thought that? So I'm going to bet the Browns to cover -3 against the Bears, -118 on FanDuel. Joe Flacco, take us to the promised land. Please go Brownies.
Naturally, I'll be rooting against that pick. Just because Justin Fields, I'm a diehard supporter, obviously. And I think if he wants to be on this team next year, they have to win out. So to win out would probably make the playoffs, though, too. But this is the hardest game the Bears have left remaining. And the Browns announced they had 4 people going to IR for the rest of the season this week, including their left and right tackle, their starting defensive back, Grant Delpit, and there was one other guy, too. I think it was and then I think it was a defensive tackle or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, that's brutal. I don't hate the pick because of what Blake said last week. The Browns at home are unstoppable. They don't let points get scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, their scoring defense, the comparison of their scoring defense from home and away is insane. I think it was 30 they give up 25, 30 points on the road. They give up 10 at home.
Yeah, which is pretty insane. Yeah. Pray for Justin Fields. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get into my lock this week. And like I mentioned on my last pick, I'm doing something kind of stupid this week. I'm going to be honest. It's a little reckless, a little stupid, but it just shows you how confident I am here. I'm going to another same game parlay. It's going to be 2 legs here. It's going to be 2 guys to rush for 45 yards. I'm going to Najee Harris, 45 plus rushing yards, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 45 rushing yards. Doubling down on Gibbs. This wasn't my initial play. I wanted to get Warren in there, but no book is altering alt lines for him right now. And we're recording here on a Thursday afternoon. Some of us are going to be in Texas tomorrow. Catch me sitting courtside rooting for LeBron wearing this.
He's not going to play.
If he doesn't play, I'll cry. I'm sitting courtside though, so catch me wearing this jersey. Back on topic here. I'm excited. Shut up. Yeah, like I said, I'm doubling down here on Gibbs, and I don't feel good about it. I don't know. I don't love to double down a lot, but I'm really confident that he's going to get this done. So like I said, borderline stupid, reckless pick here, but we'll roll with it here for my lock of the week. I'll start with Najee here. So Najee has hit 45 rushing yards in 4 of 6 games. His 2 misses were against great rushing defenses in the Patriots last week, where I think he only had like 29 rushing yards, 27 rushing yards. Not a lot of people running the Patriots. They have a great rush D. And then against the Browns in Cleveland. So like we just said, the Browns played really well at home. Just couldn't get anything going. This week, the Steelers and Najee Harris play against the Indianapolis Colts on Saturday. And the Colts are not good at stopping the run. Just last week, Joe Mixon, who I am not high on, I think very lowly of Joe Mixon. I think he's very overrated. He had 80 yards rushing. And then the week before that against the Titans, the Colts allowed Derrick Henry to run for 100 plus and the backup Tajay Spears to run for 75 rushing yards. So I think Najee is going to easily come out and get 45 yards. The Steelers are using their backup quarterback. When you have a backup quarterback, you probably don't want to trust them to sling it a ton. Sorry, Mitch, kissing titties. We're going to run the ball, I hope. Please, God, run the ball. I can't handle another loss. Please. Gibbs here. Gibbs is the second leg of this parlay here, and Gibbs has cleared this mark of 45 plus rushing yards in 6 of 7 games. For reasons I already said, they're playing a crappy Broncos poor rush defense, and Goff has been struggling. So if the Lions are smart, they're going to ride the running backs.
Ride the lightning.
Correct.
Yeah, Mitch, especially when your backup quarterback is Mitch Trubisky, you're not going to put too much of the offense in his hand. So Najee Harris, yeah, I like it. Gibbs, obviously, we pretty much already covered him. Like I said, I think Campbell puts the ball on the ground a lot, puts the ball in his playmakers' hands. Unrelated, but I think he finds some ways to get St. Brown, Amon-Ra, the sun god. I think he finds some ways to get him involved in the run game as well. Kind of the way you've seen Jaden Reed used in Green Bay. I think he finds some ways to do that. Could be just a shot in the dark, but I could see that happening from the offensive side of the standpoint. But yeah, I think that's a solid there, a little 2-legger. So.
Thank you. And I feel like that's kind of what I've been going to for my locks is 2 alted lines, move them down to a 2-leg parlay. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but like I said, I plus 152 at ESPN for those 2 legs. I love them a lot. Love them so much. I'm riding with the same guy twice. So if Jahmyr Gibbs gets hurt, but please pray for the health of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, he'll be all right. Don't prey on his downfall like that.
No, I need him to do well.
Don't put things up in the universe that you don't want to see come true. They'll come true.
That would really suck. I've never doubled down. Works? Well, I'm saying I didn't want it to.
I'm just saying, don't speak it into existence.
I hope he stays healthy.
I know you do, but
but yeah, no touchdown parlay this week, that's fine. But I feel pretty good about these picks. Blake said he will go ahead and give us his picks, so we'll probably just put the picks up here in a minute at the end with just a graphic. Probably won't have any explanation from him this week. He's in school, supposedly.
Imagine learning.
No, I'm good. The only learning I need to be doing is how to make more money gambling.
And that's why you watch the show.
Exactly.
It's a learning experience for everybody.
Hopefully we get some Amen's in the chat there.
Amen. Yeah. Spam F in the chat because Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely going to get hurt this week since Gabe said something about it.
Man.
That'd be a classic one.
That would suck. I'll cry.
But yeah, everybody, go ahead and tell us what you think in the comments. Make fun of the outfit that I'm wearing. Laugh at Gabe for going to watch a game that LeBron's supposed to be playing in and then doesn't play for load management. Or whatever you want to do. Like the video, share the video, tell your mom and dad about it, tell your aunt and uncle about it, tell your racist uncle about it. I'm sure he could enjoy this. He's not right, but you know, he'll learn something about gambling, which we all need. But yeah, other than that, thanks for joining us. Gabe, I'll let you close out the show here.
That wraps up for week 15. Shameful Locks. Double thumbs up.
Hasta luego.